All right. Hello and welcome to the March Macomb Park Board of Commissioners meeting. And as always, we will start with the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And the agenda stands approved. Consideration of and action on the minutes from the month of February. Let you guys find that in your, because I forgot to grab that as well. Minutes.
Move to approve.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And the minutes stand approved. Bills and transfers and monthly financial statements. Commissioner Ham, please.
For the February 2020 report, our consolidation fund, the cash on hand at the end of the month is $434,738. Overall, we ended the month $20,542 better than the budget. And for year-to-date, we are at $43,926 better than the budget. For the general fund, we ended January with $273,027 roughly on hand. For the end of the month, we're $7,808 better than budget projections. Year-to-date, we ended $19,621 better than expected. Corporate, we ended January, the month of January, $2,717 better than budget. Year-to-date, we ended $11,887 better than the budget. Our recreation count, overall for the end of the month, $4,413 better than budget. Year-to-date is at $4,690 better than budget. For Lakeview, we ended the month $315 better than expected. Year-to-date, we're $515 better than the budget. At Ball 4, minimal activities going on there. For the revenues, we pretty much ended at budget. The expenses were $364 more than what the budget was for February. Overall, for the year-to-date, at this time, we're $788 over budget. Special rec, year-to-date, we're $430 better than budget. Programming and events, for the year-to-date, we're setting around $585 better than budget. For the Special Olympics account, we are year-to-date $316 above the projections. And under the non-activities, for the year-to-date, we're $472 below budget. Last two for police. Basically, the revenues ended on budget. The expenses ended $337 below budget. For year-to-date, we are $622 better than our budget. Finally, for payroll, we ended the month $7,012 below budget. And at year-to-date, we're at $13,743 below the budget.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Russ. Do we have any questions for Commissioner Ham? All right, no questions. Motion to approve the bills and transfers and monthly financial statements.
So moved.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Weiss.
Aye.
Commissioner Hemingway.
Aye.
Commissioner Ham.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Commissioner Damage. Aye.
All right, very good. And it looks like we do not have anyone for the open public presentations to the commissioners. So we'll move on to the president's report. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to all of you for doing your civic duty tonight with all the things that are happening. So I appreciate it. For those of you, I guess it would be in TV land watching, we are all extremely spread out throughout the whole room here, including into the audience area. So we are participating in social distance. So thank you all again for being here tonight. So a few things I wanted to let you all know about. I've started a steering committee. In that committee, it's the president and the most senior member, so that would be John. He's our old guy. So this.
It's a good thing I can't hear.
So this small group has been made to start working on a strategic plan for the Park District. Okay. Commissioner Hemingway and I, along with Director Lenz, we met with the CEO of Campfire Concepts and was very impressed with what he presented to us, his ideas, and we're looking forward to his proposal, which we will talk more about next month. A couple other things, because we're such a young board, minus John. Sorry, John. We're working with IAPD to meet with the board as a whole to do self-evaluations. So we'll have more information on that in the coming months. I say that because it's kind of on the low end right now as far as something we need to work on. Because of everything that's been going on right now. Finally, wanted to tip my hat to Rachel and her team with the handling of the COVID-19. We're dealing with something that none of us have ever encountered. And just wanted to state that I'm very proud of their commitment and making sure our community is educated, for one, and safe. So thank you, Rachel, and please pass that along to your team. All right. That's all I have. Director Lenz.
Okay, good segue. I would also like to give a shout out to the staff. This has been a roller coaster that continues to change what seems like every 5 hours, and they have been very patient and very candid with their thoughts and concerns. We had a wonderful meeting Monday morning where we sat down and just had an open table discussion about what each of them thought moving forward, and I would say this was one of the most concise district decisions that we've made in quite some time. So this is, it was important to me to get all of the, sorry, I forgot you're back there, all of the staff's opinion on moving forward, and again, it was pretty much a consensus. So moving forward, we have closed and canceled all programs and events until further notice. We are not doing any off-site programming Most of our off-site programming was with our assisted living homes, which are, for the most part, on lockdown. So respecting the safety of the populations that live there. And also following suit with the recommendations from the CDC and the new guidelines put out by the president, no more than 10 people in a group. Most of our programs are above that. So we are going to be working with youth leagues and encouraging them to also follow suit with limiting their practices or how they conduct them. It's just us being supportive to them. We have no say in how they conduct themselves in their operations, but again, just the safety of all the youth should be and is our first priority. For all the programs that were canceled, we are working on refunding the program fees. So as we take the proper procedures and the other things that we're doing in daily operations, please be patient with us for those who are waiting on their refunds. We talked about doing in-house credit. At this point, we just want everybody to have their money in case they need it for something, a daily essential. So all of our facilities are now closed. Restrooms and parks will remain closed. They were scheduled to open April 1st. We have postponed that opening. We will re-examine what's going on in the government and what they're recommending to us at the end of March and proceed with their recommendations. Along with that, we've also canceled all facility rentals until further notice. We've notified all the individuals who did have facility rentals through March and the first week of April. We have refunded their money. Everybody's been very understanding. They were going to call and cancel anyway, so everybody seems to be in the same mindset. Our park office is closed to the public. We have a very limited staff on site, and those staff are going on rotation. We are allowed to have up to 10 people. We are working on the restriction of 5, just to do our part to further lessen the chance of the spread. And again, kudos to the staff for being so patient and flexible through this time. I have set us up on an online platform called Slack. It is an online chat system, essentially. And I think I have seen us communicate more through Slack than we have in person. So it's a very fluid platform, very easy to use. Even Jeff Hoyt was on it today, which really surprised me. So we've done something right. But I think that will allow us to still have very fluid conversations with each of the different departments that standardly work together and still, do good work in the community from our homes. And we've, of course, encouraged all of the recommendations that the CDC has put out in stating, good hygiene. If any of the staff feels sick, to please stay home, and sharing with them and speaking for the board, because I assumed it would be okay that they have our support to stay home should they ever feel ill. And with a few members who have children, figuring out that first, that family is priority, and we will figure out the rest from there. It's a learning curve, and I'm very pleased with the work that the staff are doing. They're very excited about all the different possibilities that we can do with craftivities is one that they put out today, and I thought that was quite clever. We're also wanting to boast the different restaurants in town who are doing the curbside pickup, and a conversation that I had with Commissioner Gamage today about how people like to come into the old dairy just to sit and hang out led to a post that you guys will probably see tomorrow about come get your food from our local restaurants and enjoy the parks because they still remain open while still practicing proper social distancing. Please stay safe. So we're excited to be able to support our local businesses in that way and still promote being outside. We know that that's going to be what is best for people to get outside and experience the mental health benefits from that. I know one question that we got a lot of today, our daddy-daughter pictures are in, and normally we require the daddies to come pick them up. They are banned from the facility, so they can't. So we will be mailing them to the families. So no worries, we want to get those to you as soon as possible, and we will make sure they get in the mail tomorrow, if at all possible, by the end of the week, for sure. And then another change that is coming because of COVID-19 is our meeting process. So there was in the executive order given out by the governor in section 6, it talked about they are suspending certain requirements for public meeting. So we are allowed to now meet via video conferencing. So on your iPads, I had Chris upload the Zoom app. I will be sending out Zoom invitations for our board meeting in April, should this continue on. If you guys want me to do a little walkthrough post board meeting, I'd be happy to do that. But it's a very user-friendly app. It's an invitation that we can put out on our website so that if the public wants to join, they are welcome to join us and still watch in, so we still have that engagement with the community. Before COVID-19, though, we had a lot of wonderful progressions going on in the district and developments that we are still continuing with. So I do want to brag about those a little bit because of the popularity of the ceramics program that I had mentioned several times, and we anticipate will continue to be popular. We have started working on expanding the ceramics studio. When we're done, it will almost have doubled the space that we have. We're also hoping that this space will be attractive enough to be a rental facility. So it's just expanding into the garage, which for those who have seen the garage, it's not the most attractive facility, but Jeff has a tendency to turn something that has used a lot of duct tape into something really quite splendid. So Natalie was thrilled, obviously, and we're very excited to see the continued success of her programs. We are planning for more progress out at Lakeview, depending on when the COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. We were planning on doing invasive species removals, and there is a new partnership for potential beehive out at Lakeview. Excellent. That is a beloved piece that a lot of community members have missed, so we've been working, we being Natalie, working to bring that back, and she has, I think, struck gold with the partnership that she has. So more on that once we have more, I guess. And then last but not least, I gave each of you one of these little black books. These are called Rocket Books. They are an international agency who took a chance on a little small town. I called Rocketbook and told them about the Be the Change initiative that we were doing, and they loved it and they wanted to be a part of it. And so they struck a deal with us, gave us a heck of a deal on these books, and also put our Be the Change logo on them. So Rocketbook is essentially the last notebook you will ever need. The pages inside are whiteboard pages. So they are reusable, but you'll notice once you write on them, they don't smear. So there is a cloth on the back of your book that you can get damp, and then that will wipe away the writing. But the best piece about Rocketbook is that it is an intelligent notebook. So at the bottom of the page, you'll see icons. Each of those icons you can associate with an email, a Google Drive file, if you do Evernote, any application that you would potentially keep notes on, or email or whatever. If you mark an X on that icon, download the app, scan the page, it will automatically send that page to that location. So this is a way for us as a staff to not only reduce our carbon footprint, but also be more efficient at work. And now hopefully for all of you as well. They're a really fun company that I was very, again, pleased that they were willing to take a shot on a small town organization and partner with us. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Again, if you need any more explanation, let me know, but it's pretty user-friendly. Questions? This one, it was in the book, or in the box. They are pilot friction line. So it's a specific type of ink that, again, it will dry so it doesn't smear, but it also erase.
Yeah, the little clear tip on the pen will let you erase with it.
Yeah, yep. This, yeah, also
cool.
acts as an eraser. Yeah. So, very cool little piece. Very excited to have it. Another area that reduce our carbon footprint. Any other questions?
Just a quick question. I want to make sure I'm clear on the gates at Veterans Parkway and Patton Park. They're all going to be left open then from now on? It's just the restrooms are going to be all closed at Patton and Veterans and,
Yeah, unless of inclement weather, that has not changed. If we have a large rain, we'll close the gates to prevent racetrack driving.
the individuals can go out there and walk,
Yes,
run,
yep.
use the equipment, wipe them down
Yes.
appropriately
Yep.
with their,
Yeah, if you guys, if the public could help us out and wipe down after use, that would be excellent. Otherwise, we have implemented much more stringent cleaning procedures for the district.
and just to remind people, there are doggy bags out there
Yes,
for
please.
walking.
Yes, yeah, please use the dog stations.
And not the fields,
Yes,
not the infields of the
yep,
ball fields. Thank you.
very good, yeah, thank you.
Is there any update on the lights, or is that later in the agenda?
No, I'm glad you brought that up. I actually reached out to IMEG to give you guys an update. Asked them if the COVID-19 would put any delay on the installation, and they said the biggest factor remains the weather.
Weather?
So they haven't heard of any delay at this point, but they are keeping a close eye on the weather to see if it will cooperate with us this year.
Awesome. Any other questions for Director Lenz? All right, thank you, Rachel. All right, next on the agenda, we have the public hearing regarding the budget and appropriation ordinance number 335. So it's been made available for the public for 30 days. Yes, since February 14th. I would like to make a motion that we close. Oh, I guess it would be, well. Oh, yeah, I guess, declare it's officially open then. Can we do that? Yes. Make a motion to declare that it's officially open, which I guess would be part next of the consideration and possible action regarding the budget and appropriation ordinance, right?
Well, first we declare it open.
Oh,
Pause for everybody to comment, and then we'll go to
okay. Hence, earlier, my statement of being a young board. My apologies. Okay. All right, so
You have the power.
I have the power, that's right. I would like to close,
No, okay.
open. I would like to open the budget and appropriation ordinance number 335. All right, and now saying that, moving on to the next agenda,
No,
no,
we need to wait a bit.
okay.
I'd say that's a bit.
Okay.
Or any discussions
Now we-
or
yeah.
opportunities for discussions?
And now we have a motion to close.
Are you
I will make
making
that
the
motion
motion?
if you wish.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Sorry, my brain just shut off for me.
Senior moment.
Is there, is, all in should we, yes, let's do a roll call vote, please.
Aye.
Commissioner Ham,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamage, Commissioner Weiss.
Aye. All right. Now, we're going to move on to the next agenda item. Consideration and possible action regarding the budget and appropriation ordinance number 335. Okay. Are there any questions on this, about the budget and appropriations ordinance? Yes.
If I might, with
Absolutely.
your permission, if you remember, we discussed that it was presented earlier, the initial reading. It was then posted for 30 days. We've all seen this before, and now that we've had the public hearing, comes time to essentially just vote on it. So you've all seen this once before, though it may seem a long time ago.
And it is under ordinances in through our mail, if you wanted to briefly take a look at that draft.
If I'm recalling correctly, you had indicated the somewhat uncertain nature of this document.
Yeah. Are there any questions or comments or from the commissioners? You guys good?
I have none.
Okay. All right. So, I'd like to make a motion regarding the budget and appropriations ordinance number 335 to, I guess, pass that ordinance. Is there a second?
Second.
Sorry, come on now. All right, let's do another roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Ham,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamage, Commissioner Weiss,
Aye.
Commissioner Henry.
Aye.
All right. It has passed, so thank you. Okay, let's move on to discussion and possible action on the purchase of a 15-passenger accessible van. And I'm gonna let Director Lenz talk more about that.
So I sent you each an email that had a quick description of the van, the need for the accessible vehicle, and a video that showed you what the van looked like. Our 15-passenger green van is quite old. There has been several maintenance issues on it, and was recently brought to my attention should probably not be driven outside of city limits, which causes quite an issue for us as our Special Olympics team utilizes it to travel to outside competitions quite frequently. So to not only rectify that and getting a new vehicle, as we do have a budget set aside for vehicle and equipment replacement, so it is not unusual for us to have this purchase. The unusual bit being it being an accessible vehicle. This has been something we've needed for quite some time. Back when I was running the Special Recreation Association, it was one of the first requests that I put forward to no avail. So this would be a highly utilized vehicle. I would love to see our Special Olympics athletes be able to ride safely and have full access for those who have mobility restrictions and utilize wheelchairs. This would open up a lot of opportunities for us to provide more services. The cost, though, being just under $43,000, I do need this to go to a board vote.
And do the individuals that request pickup, is that a free service or is that a paid service?
It's part of the, it's an additive to the registration fee. So if they do require, we charge a minimal transportation fee. Yeah, good question.
Do we have a special budget or a separate budget for Special Olympics?
It's part of our handicap recreation levy that we do. So the SRA budget has a section in it that we've divvied out for Special Olympics. Yeah.
At need, would other programs be able to use the van on the assumption that there's some sort of prioritizing of use?
Absolutely, yeah. It would still remain the Park District's vehicle, and as you guys saw in the video that I put out, it is a very sharp ramp that doesn't take up a lot of space at all, so it could very easily still be utilized for Park District needs. Yeah.
This is gonna seem, probably not surprisingly, a little off the wall. What kind of training do people go through to be able to drive a 15-person van?
The size vehicle that we are getting is standard training. You don't have to have any additional licensing to drive this particular 15-passenger vehicle.
15-passenger vans have a certain reputation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're longer and that. So do we do anything with our staff to?
We make sure they're familiar with it before we allow them to put participants in, you know, on a windy day, allow them to drive it with a staff and help them to guide them so they can get a feel for it before, we put participants in. Yeah.
And there are backup features that we're showing on the video and stuff, and most of what we saw is what you're recommending us to purchase, correct?
Yes.
And you're replacing one, you said it was back in 2008,
Yeah, the green
older,
van, yeah.
and we are going to get some resell on that van,
We're gonna attempt, yes.
attempt to. Okay.
We might get more in scrap metal, but yes, we, at Russ's request, reached out to the company to see if there was any trade-in value. Otherwise, we would follow the standard procedure of taking it to auction like we have done in the past.
And it was for replacing,
It will potentially replace 2 of our vans. We also have the minivan and have come to find out that it also needs several repairs. So us going with the 15-passenger van would, to my understanding from our special recreation supervisor, fulfill the needs of both of those vehicles.
did all of you get an opportunity to see the video that Rachel had sent?
Yes.
I did.
It's pretty slick.
Oh, Chris was pumped, man.
It is
He
a,
loved the remote control ramp feature. He was
Yeah.
all pumped about it. He's kind of nerdy that way, though. I
I'm
was
right there with him.
actually also
I'm right there with him.
geeking out about it.
Yeah. So, do we have any other
Yeah.
discussion that we would like to ask Rachel about this before a motion is made?
I don't have any questions. I just want to make a comment that I'm going to recuse myself from voting on this item. I have family members that are members of the Special Olympics team here in Macomb.
All right. All right, well, with that said, is there a motion?
I'd like to move that we allow the purchase of this 2017 accessible 15-passenger van that has been brought to the board's attention. And I think because the price was over, is it 25,000? I just want to make that public in the record that 25,000 is what we had to approve. It is in the normal operations of the director's day-to-day working to replace these periodically, these out-of-date vehicles. I think the price, but I would like to move that we approve the purchase at the price stated.
I'll second.
All right.
For many of the same reasons that Russ stated. The lack of an accessible vehicle is a major issue and would cause us problems in any audit for handicapped access. And as part of the strategic plan, we are going to have to go through such.
Yes.
So this is a reasonable step. These are expensive vehicles, but they're expensive for a good cause, and I have absolutely no problem with the purchase.
All right. Any other discussion? So it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please. Aye.
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 All right, and it has passed. Very good. It's very exciting. And Rachel, you're getting your exercise today, so we're going to throw you back up there at that podium.
Got it.
Next on the agenda is an update on the adult softball program.
Yes. So the adult softball program, we've been talking about at least since January, if not earlier. This program, we had a very long standing relationship with MAWA, who ran the league for quite some time, and upon their retirement, dissolutions. Us finding a new leadership for the adult softball program has been a roller coaster ride as well. The previous year, family who ran it is no longer able to do so, and we've been attempting to contact other individuals who might be interested or who might have the skill set, and to no avail. So at this time, we do not have anyone to run the adult softball program. This is not something that we could afford to run ourselves unless we raise the cost an unfortunate amount. And I think that would defeat the purpose of, it would end up causing as much damage as not having somebody to run it. So at this time, and especially with the new development of the COVID-19, we do not have an adult softball program. If anybody is interested, though, we would always be willing to discuss the reinstatement of the program. Obviously, it's a valuable asset to the community. We do want to see it continue. We are sad to see it have a period of time away from the community. But again, I assume they wouldn't reach out until after the restrictions are.
And you would
raised.
even consider a fall league coming in,
Yeah, we
even
would.
though they haven't had one.
We
In
would
the
work
past,
with-
it was always the summer, but
Yeah,
fall would be,
just as acceptable, absolutely. We're here to provide the recreational opportunities when we can.
So piggybacking off of what Commissioner Ham said, and hopefully helping to emphasize and sort of pound home the message, this is a response to a twofold situation. In one, we didn't have anybody step forward. We also have the virus situation. But the decision not to currently have the softball program is temporary and not permanent, so that if somebody came forward, we'd be more than willing to engage.
Absolutely.
I just think it's really important that people hear that temporary and not permanent.
And what is the best way of, if we have a couple individuals that are interested in supervising the program, best way of getting in contact with you?
At this time, I would recommend emailing me r.lens@macombparks.com. You can call into the office. Again, we are on a very limited staff on rotation. They could always forward that message on to me, and I would return that, get a hold of that person as soon as possible. But yeah, the most efficient way would be email right now.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you very much. All right. Our next agenda item, discussion of possible action on revised seating for the board meetings. This was what, 3 months ago, something like that? Might have been a little longer even. No? Oh, okay. Oh, January, okay. Dr. Hemingway. Sorry, the student in me came out. Mentioned changing the seating arrangement for our future meetings. And with that, I'm going to, would you like to say anything more on that?
Well, since it
Commissioner.
was sometime January or before, turnabout is fair play. For as long as I've been a member of the board, we have used seniority as a way of seating. And there's a certain sense to that. And the motion that I indicated I would like to make is that other than the board president, who should remain seated next to the secretary, that the rest of us be seated alphabetically. Is that anybody that studied or watched a meeting knows that there's a rhythm that develops, and we get into certain habits. And the people you'll notice how we use the rotating roll call vote. It's an attempt to break up any informal, almost unnoticed influence patterns that develop. And I would like to see what would happen if we used a different seating pattern to get different people sitting next to each other, to allow more interchange, and perhaps make us think a little bit instead of just waiting, you know? That's it.
Would you consider a random drawing out of the hat before the meeting?
That's getting into state regulation of lottos and things like that. I'm not really sure we want to do that. I think we need some system of it. But seniority, you know, we've always done seniority. People always use seniority. I'd just kind of like to break that up a little bit. And I'm going to point out that in the way it would work out, if you think that I'm going to be sitting up, I'm going to be the very last one.
I was going to say, what would be the order? Quite frankly, what would be the order? Ham? It would be Sterling, Damage, Ham, and Hemingway.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. That's almost reverse
Yeah.
seniority.
Yeah.
Which seniority to me doesn't, I mean, that's,
I have a
I
comment.
get what your concern is, as you spoke.
My comment would be similar to something that Commissioner Ham was talking about, that it be a roving system, kind of almost, not say luck of the draw, but we just switch it up periodically. We only meet monthly, so it wouldn't be very hard to do we all assign each other a number, and then we put it 1, 2, 3, 4, then 4, 3, 2, 1, and 2, 3, 1, 4, and so on and so forth.
Could the district afford a dartboard? And we could.
You know, I have one at my house, I'll just donate.
Yeah, I don't want to make more out of this than it needs to be made out of it. I'm just trying to break up maybe old habits and patterns. Because we got a lot of things we need to talk about, and we're going to need every voice in the conversation. And I don't want just the way we've always done things to become an impediment to that.
I'm not opposed to seating in different order. I have no objections to that.
Okay. Well,
So I will make that motion the way I described it, if there's a second. Huh? Okay.
So,
oh,
a point of order, I just want to make sure I understand the motion. We are going with the alphabetized, is that what you're moving?
Yeah, that we use alphabetical order,
Rather
leaving the
than-
president,
Sure,
rather than, you know,
okay.
and if we,
Seniority,
yeah.
use alphabet in
Right.
future meetings.
And if we want to go to something different, I mean, it's up to us.
I'd like to second that motion.
all right, it's been moved and seconded. We do not need to do a roll call vote on that one. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. So I think just simplify, we'll have that in place for our next meeting, our April meeting. Pending, yes, pending.
Our next physical meeting, yeah.
Physical, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, no, if we do Zoom, we have to do it in alphabetical order. Okay. Open commissioner presentation and discussion of future agenda items.
I'd like to know a little bit more on the strategic plan that is going to involve the visionary information that we had worked on prior to the start of the year. I remember those being worked on. So will that be on next month's agenda then? More specific detail of what's being discussed?
For the strategic plan?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can, I think, it's all, again, going to be based on the opportunities we'll have to meet because of what's happening currently with the coronavirus. But yeah, that was part of,
Just
and
an
I'm sorry,
update.
I did, yeah, absolutely,
update would be-
updating you. That,
okay.
absolutely, yes.
So we understand make sure that those vision statements and that each of the board members worked on and turned in are also being part of that.
Jared expressed considerable interest in that information. What we did, was it just yesterday? The way things are changing, it's, what we discussed yesterday was essentially the way, and I remember the first name of Jared
Schumann. And that's the CEO that I had mentioned earlier, CEO of Campfire Concepts.
He has worked with a number of park districts around the state, has a good name, has some tie-ins with the Recreation Park Tourism Administration program here on campus, so that there are some resources there that eventually might become available. And he is, based on our conversation, putting together a proposal that will suggest what he thinks out of the services that his company offers would be most useful for us. There's a whole range. It's going to be a menu. And of course, we'll also be discussing costs. So what would likely come next month would be more along the lines of, this is the sort of contract proposal that's coming forward, what services he would offer and what the fee would be for this board to agree to. The vision statements are going to be a key component of what he does. He actually, in the process he laid out, has a section that involves visioning, so we're a leg up on that already. And I know that we have our two newer commissioners that have been fed some of that information, and it will be most helpful if we can get that so we can forward it to him and include it. I won't attempt to summarize the process that he sketched out to us. I will simply say, and I don't mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back, it's part of what my duties were at various universities were to help run these things, and what he said made a great deal of sense. And his task will not only be to devise the process, but to make sure that in addition to the organization, the community, and various stakeholders in the community are included in the process. Set timelines so that he can prod us. And I want to stress something that I think Phil mentioned, but I'm not sure everybody heard, was that although there's a smaller group working on this, we're going to be coming to the board for its approval, its input. You can't do a project like this with a body much over 3 or 4 people. Honest to God, it just becomes a melee with everybody trying to keep track of things. So we're trying to get a tight, compact group, then come back, get the feedback. Every one of you will be involved, both individually. So for example, Jared would probably if we go forward with it, Jared would contact you, interview you, find out what you think, how you're reacting, both about the community and the district. That would get blended in. So everybody's going to be involved in this. This is not going to be just a quick, short process. The great value of this is that we learn to understand ourselves better as a district, what we do well, what we don't do well. What is it that we really want to concentrate on doing better? How do we do that? And then build into the community so the community leaders have their chance to say some things, so that regular citizens, focus groups, other forms of information collection have an opportunity to have their say. And then we come back and build on that with a plan that says this is what we want the park district to do, and I would assume that we would go to the public with the final product and say, here, this is what we're trying to do. We've never done that here. I personally think it's vital because we do have a young board, and at some point there are going to be changes to the board and changes to our district staff. And this kind of strategic planning then gives us a platform to say, this is what we've agreed. This is how we go forward. And I want you to hear the word we. Russ, that was a long-winded response, and I do apologize. Did it get at what you were?
No, I know what you're talking about, consultant, is what you're basically boiling down to. Having a
Yeah.
person come in here, evaluate the park district's operations and board members and see how that's what I'm understanding, that's what I'm hearing.
He's going to assist
Just
us in
out-
doing that. It's going to be up to us to do the evaluation because it's our values, our purposes.
Right.
We're the elected officials, but at the
Right.
same time, he
And I
wants,
understand the consulting aspect of any kind of successful operations.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know that this is going to be in the future discsion at next
Absolutely.
month's
Oh,
meeting.
absolutely.
absolutely.
See where we're at with it. I
I've got,
appreciate it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be challenging. I think it's going to be very exciting.
Absolutely. Are there any other questions from the commissioners?
I have a quick question. It involves our number of employees that the park district has. And I guess, Rachel, you have a strategic plan in place for emergency, say we go into a state of emergency statewide. I'm sure that our employees fall under some type of safety net, and that's already on file and ready to roll. I just want to make sure that we're not caught in the dark, if you will.
I've been working with our business manager, Chris Brinkhauser, in getting all of our staff what technology they might need should we have to go to remote only. Setting up systems with our accounting firm, so that we can make sure that we still have payroll, and that we're not using anybody without financial assistance. It is not my intention to take any of the staff off of our pay. They're all still doing remote work. They're all working very hard to do what they can, promote what's going on with the community. Jeff is still fixing the ceramic studio. So, yeah, should we have to go to a remote location only, we're working on making sure all the pieces of that puzzle are in place so that they are more protected.
Thank you.
Thank you for concerning their safety.
Okay.
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Absolutely. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And we stand adjourned. Thank you all very much for coming in tonight.